Gaming is culture.
You fucking whiny whore.
Gaming.
Alright, I guess we'll watch the DreamcastGuy video, then I might go ahead and hop off for now, guys. Let's see.
Hey there, gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about the PlayStation Blackout, the big backlash that's currently happening because Sony, in a way, has responded to the PlayStation boycott, and they're basically just doing a giant spit in the face. So,
well, what did you expect?
On Friday night at close of business, Sony sent out a giant new email, a blast, a 50-page legal document to every single PlayStation owner, really confirming the fact that you literally own nothing. Even if you have an actual physical disc or a digital download or a giant digital library, you own nothing, literally nothing. That means that,
well, in your case, you do own literally nothing, DreamcastGuy, because you're 40 years old living with roommates, but, you know. I'm sure when they say you'll own nothing and be happy, you think they're talking about video games and Marvel movies.
It's more than that. They're now saying they're officially basically monitoring everything you do on your PlayStation. They can break your PlayStation at any time. If you record
nothing new,
a cool clip, they have full legal rights to monetize, to sell, to re-release anything.
Yup. Same thing with your YouTube videos
You ever do on your PlayStation. It's every single aspect to say that literally you basically don't own your PlayStation. Not the games, not the data, not the experiences. It is purely Sony property. Now, this is uniquely a PlayStation experience. People are saying, oh, all digital games are kind of scummy. But to me, this feels like a more intense reaction to that. It feels like Sony is trying to tell people even interested in the PlayStation Blackout or people thinking they're not going to go to the PlayStation 6. It feels like their ego is saying, you're going to keep playing in our ecosystem even if it kills you. Now, I want to break down the entire
even if it kills you. That's right, guys. Life or death. Even if it means certain death, you will keep playing in PlayStation's ecosystem. You can't stop. Movie. You won't stop, no matter what. Let's see. Juan with the girl power for 300 joules. Appreciate it.
Statement, because people have really been picking apart this 50-page document, and it's wild how in legalese they're really telling you you will own nothing and love it. Hi, hope you're having a great day.
Jeez. Dude, this is just such Goyim maxing, bro. When Klaus Schwab says you will own nothing and be happy, again, he's like literally referring to the fact that the only thing you will have is consumer goods. You won't have property, you won't own your own home, you won't own a car, you'll only take public transit, you won't own businesses, nothing. You'll just be like a fucking worker ant who goes in, clocks into their job, and then spends all their money on consumption goods. Like video games.
If you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I wanted to start by sort of discussing this because what a lot of people are taking this as is a giant spit in the face, reminding you that you literally own nothing according to their terms of service. Now, let's start with the bullet points, right? Sony is sending out the emails reminding people of the short and sweet of it, which is you don't own digital games. You are renting a license, meaning that literally they can revoke a game without refunding you. They can take a game away without refunding you. And if you buy something, technically, if your console dies or if you try to give it to a friend, you literally do not own it to even pass it on. If your account is closed or banned, your games are gone permanently, even paid ones. PlayStation can record your chats, clips, and IP address.
Did they really think that they're not already doing that?
Which is a little bit weird. They can
not really
sell your clips. They can put them in commercials and you get absolutely no cut. Their liability is capped at $100. This means that Sony is screwing something up that costs you money. The most they will ever pay you back is $100. Doesn't matter if it's a $1,000 console or a limited edition controller. No matter what, you get a $100 refund. Now, this bullet point has made a lot of people very, very mad because it just seems like Sony, in general, has given up on the idea of getting bigger or getting better. I feel like...
Getting bigger? What the fuck is this guy talking? Dude, they just live in a different reality. They really do. These people live in a different fucking reality.
I really hate the idea of the console war as a concept now, because there was a time when that did lead to good outcomes, right? Sony competing with Xbox meant that both of them were trying to put out the best games, the best deals, the coolest exclusives, even the craziest marketing deals or exclusive DLC. At this point in 2026, exclusivity is just a tiny buzzword. I mean, at this point, there's no special feature to it. Sony is so far out ahead. They are literally, the current numbers is like 60% of the entire market industry is purely Sony and nothing else.
No, it's not.
They've given up on trying to be anything else. They're fine being the third-party platform. Call of Duty is going to come there and sell a bunch. They're going to put Resident Evil and Silent Hill and everything else. Every game sells on PlayStation, so PlayStation doesn't care about providing a good product. They care about making sure the store is accessible, and if you do have a problem, you sit down and shut up. Now, I want to take a look at a lot of these reactions here, because I keep seeing stuff like this, right? Happier every day. I made the right choices I made. There's a lot of people that have basically been going more and more in the Xbox and Nintendo Switch 2 direction. I mean,
there's more people going into the Xbox direction. Really? Dude, we've come. It's horseshoe theory. It's fucking horseshoe theory. Now Dreamcast guy is now saying the Xbox isn't dead. It's brutal, man. Absolutely fucking brutal. Also, just so you know, Dreamcast guy, this dude's from Brazil, and PlayStations are notoriously expensive in Brazil. So Brazil is actually home to a very, very large portion of the Xbox fanboy community, which is a little known fact because of tariffs.
Looking at the raw numbers, not a lot of people buying Xboxes these days, or even playing Xbox games in general, it seems like. But the Nintendo Switch 2's popularity, I do think, is the fact that, you know, love them or hate them, Nintendo is releasing exclusives. They are physically putting the cartridges on a disc. They are doing digital.
I love when they put the cartridge on a disc.
Discounts. They're doing a lot of stuff that basically a lot of the, like, lies that PlayStation tells, Nintendo is actually doing it. How things have changed. Sony used to at least pretend to care. Now they expect you to grovel at their knees and say,
well, they're not in Japan anymore, at least the PlayStation division.
Thank you, while they treat you like trash, even though they are the ones that you are giving them money. Everybody loves to post this picture, and I think it is rather quintessential. In 2011, this was during the PlayStation hack. Essentially, the PlayStation Network went down for 29 days. A bunch of credit card information got stolen. They flipped the giant off switch, and they took a giant L. Now, when the servers came back a full month later, they gave out free games. They did giant apologies. They basically managed to keep all that data safe despite the hack, and they came out and did a giant full public apology. As you can see, literally bowing to the audience and begging for forgiveness. And what do they do in 2026? Say, yeah, we don't care. In this same call right here, this 2026 call, this is where they said, straight up, they said, yeah, some people are concerned about digital ownership, but we think they'll keep buying. We think the concerns about physical games are lower than the possible profit margins. Straight up just saying, you know what? We don't really care. Retro gaming is a relief in a world full of microtransactions and predatory practices from the big devs. Now, I never made a video about this, but right now what's really crazy is a lot of these, well, internal storage drive retro devices, like in this case, the Nintendo 3DS.
Internal storage drive retro. Okay, that's a new category.
These games are actually skyrocketing in value. If you actually go to eBay right now and look at like soft modded or technically advanced swapped hard drive, if you look at any version of the 3DS or any of these old systems, right now their value is really high, because people do appreciate the fact that right now you could just get a 3DS loaded up with every single game and play it for years. Every Pokemon, every RPG, every homebrew, you can just play them. And a lot of people are saying, hey, this is a gaming experience that I do own, that I can play forever, that won't be revoked or hacked or bricked or sold. It is interesting that if you do a lot of this retro
and
game...
Dreamcast guy, how is that taking place? Is it because of physical video games? Or is it because of digital ROMs? Just food for thought on that one. Are these people playing physical cartridges? Or are they playing digital copies of already, you know, existing games? I don't know.
I mean, I do think a lot of that rise of it is that retro games are still good. Me and one of my friends, we've been playing a lot of Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah, dude, Pokemon games on 3DS are notoriously cheap. Same with the DS games as well, and Game Boy.
Lately, and I haven't played Legend of Dragoon since I was a kid. That game is still fantastic. It still has incredible art, incredible graphics, incredible little hidden side paths and stuff. That game is fantastic. And you know what? I could play that thing on a paper clip. Those kind of games,
Then do it.
those experiences, I think people are getting to a point where they're like, okay, why pay $1,000 for a console when I could get, you know, a $60 PlayStation 1 and start playing games on that, and it's just as fun without all this added weird predatory BS, right? Physical.
I'm reviewing Marvel's Wolverine. Dude, this is what's so ironic about these LARPers, bro. Like, oh, I could just go play retro games. Yeah, but you won't. You're going to go out and buy every new dog shit AAA release for the next 10 years.
Will always be best. A lot of people really have been circling this second bullet point. If your account is closed or banned, your games are gone, even the paid ones. Now, some people are saying, okay, why is that such a big deal? Why is that specifically seem to be such a hill that people are dying on? Other platforms are talking about digital ownership. Recently, there was a big lawsuit in China. A guy essentially said that if I want to put all of my Nintendo Switch games, if I want to put all my Steam games in my will, can I give them to my son? I can give physical discs. Why can't I give my other purchases? And he won the case. He basically said,
why couldn't you just give him the password?
that yes, technically, you own those games. You bought them. They're EXEs that you can download. So if you want to will teeny tiny amounts of extra profit margin, I can't understate how much I'm praying for the PlayStation 6 to sell terribly. I love playing on PlayStation systems for like a decade now, trophy hunted and all that, but this stuff is really starting to get impossible to defend, especially the digital-only future stuff being forced upon us. Now, I see so many of these tweets. I really want to just scroll here for a second to show you how many of these tweets have tens of thousands of likes. These are not like random little tweets I found on the timeline that have like 4 likes. Literally 40,000 likes on that one. Look at that.
Whoa!
This one's probably got like 7,000 likes. So many of these right here, right? Gosh, 3,000 likes.
Oh my god!
All of these are really just a sign about the fact that people are getting annoyed about how these companies, they're no longer trying to grow. They're no longer trying to innovate. They're no longer trying to impress you. They're trying to milk you until your eyes roll back in your head. Sony pushes a 50-page...
Dude, wait, hold on.
They're trying to milk you until your eyes roll back in your head. This is giving hand jobs in an Olive Garden parking lot.
DreamcastGuy would know a thing or two about milking someone until their eyes roll to the back of their head, huh?
They're no longer trying to impress you. They're trying to milk you until your eyes roll back in your head. Sony pushes...
Dude, if my PlayStation did that, I'd buy 20.
A 50-page long email to remind you that you own nothing. It's just, when I see stuff like this, I can't help but feel frustrated. If you own a PlayStation, it's time for you to reconsider.
Dude, I wish my PlayStation would milk me until my eyes rolled into the back of my head. That sounds great, man.
Your options to gaming. You have multiple choices: PC, Xbox, or Switch. There's literally no reason for you to stay loyal to a company that clearly doesn't care about you. And I think this is an
I can clip it, but I don't know if I'll add it to the soundboard.
Thousands of likes. These are not like 40,000. People are getting annoyed about how these companies, they're no longer...
Alright, hold on. Let me close out of Modern Warfare. That's interfering with the audio.
Longer trying to grow. They're no longer trying to innovate. They're no longer trying to impress you. They're trying to milk you until your eyes roll back in your head. Sony pushes a 50-page long email to remind you that you own nothing.
Alright, I got it.
It's just, when I see stuff like this, I can't help but feel frustrated. If you own a PlayStation, it's time for you to reconsider your options to gaming. You have multiple choices: PC, Xbox, or Switch. There's literally no reason for you to stay loyal to a company that clearly doesn't care about you. And I think this is an argument. When I see how popular these tweets are, There is a lot of times where
Oh yeah, dude.
people say, well, PC doesn't really care about you either. Xbox doesn't care about you either. Switch doesn't care about you either. They don't, obviously. These are all soulless corporations. But my point is the fact that
Wow, he's just realizing that, huh?
even though they don't care,
First time?
at least they pretend like it. At least they'll sit up straight and say, hey, we're trying to make you happy. PlayStation is uniquely the person that gives 0 Fs. They do not care about you, and proudly, they'll spit in your face and ask you to lick it up. Every other company is at least vying for your business.
Yeah, right after they milk you, bro, they hock a lug right in your face and say, lick it up, bet.
think Xbox sucks.
Oh my god. Like, he just has like these porn fantasies, bro. I'm telling you. DreamcastGuy is hypersexual. He is very hypersexual and he represses it. You know, there are countless examples of him talking about shooting thick, milky ropes, you know, banging moms, you know, hand jobs, blow jobs, sucking dick in an Olive Garden bathroom / parking lot. There's just countless examples of this happening. So, you know, it is pretty interesting to see.
Because they're closing down studios like crazy, but at least Xbox is pretending to try. Nintendo is definitely trying with the amount of like crazy tiny niche games they keep doing. Fire Emblem barely sells, and they keep making them. Xenoblade barely sells, but they keep making them because they're like, you know what? We make these games, the system keeps selling. We'd rather have a bunch of passionate, high-paid developers making cool art because it supports the entire platform. That's what they want, right? Is a popular Nintendo Switch. I wanted to end with this tweet here by Moore's Law is Dead. Now, Moore's Law is Dead, definitely, in my opinion, one of the best PlayStation hardware leakers of all time. This guy's been talking a lot about the PlayStation 6, including its power and price point. And he said this, at this point, I have to conclude the executives at PlayStation just don't see the PlayStation 6 as an opportunity to kill the used game market and usher in greater pricing control. But indeed, this is also 100% about bringing fans to heel. Submit. You have no choice. We own you. Unfortunately, Moore's
Now bark for me, bitch.
Law is Dead is right like he always is. I think this really is a twofold attack. It's killing the used game market so they no longer need to put any game on sale ever because there is no competition or incentive to lower prices. And additionally, it's about making it where you are only allowed to rent PlayStation property forever. Own nothing and be proud of owning nothing. These have been some off-the-cuff thoughts, but I have to be honest that I just feel like the people participating...
Who would have thought, bro, that, you know, the thing that finally broke DreamcastGuy is his inability to stuff a shelf, bro. All the other shit that Sony has gotten away with for decades at this point. The thing that finally broke the camel's back with him is not being able to stick a bunch of plastic garbage on a shelf. Isn't it ironic?
The PlayStation Blackout, whether you agree with it or whether you don't, I think it's interesting that there is now this vocal pushback. Who knows how much of this is the internet, but I can say anecdotally, I go out and about, I do run into subscribers out and about, and
Hey, yo, DreamcastGuy, let me tell you, man, I can't get behind PlayStation no more. Yeah, I bet that happens all the time.
I have had multiple subscribers now walk up to me while I'm at stores and stuff and say, hey, love the videos. I don't like playing my PlayStation anymore because
Hey, DreamcastGuy, big fan of the videos, man, but I don't like playing on my PlayStation no more.
I know they
Things that totally happen.
want to screw me. And who knows how much that's hitting like the normies out there outside of YouTube land. But to me, that is new. All right. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video,
You think DreamcastGuy, when he's saying goodbye to the fan, goes, make sure to keep dreaming.
be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video.
Yeah, that's how he sends them off. It's like, well, it was great to meet you, man. Appreciate your support of my channel. And remember, keep dreaming. Then just walks away.
If you want to see something else, you can always click this.
Okay, DreamcastGuy, I'll be done to watch a new video. Bro. I'll be watching on my PC, not my PlayStation.
Link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next.
Oh my god, man. Griffin does the voice a little, way too well. Hey, I'm just talented. What can I say? I'm pretty talented. I can't enjoy my PlayStation anymore, Dreamcast guy. It's breaking my heart.
All right, awesome. Thanks, nigga. All right.
I don't even recognize you anymore. PlayStation, you're breaking my heart. Oh, let's see. So Daryl's on with the 2. Dreamcast guy will take his PlayStation with him when he's dead. That's right. He'll be buried in the Dreamcast guy mausoleum, surrounded by his physical game collections on all 4 sides. And Oski Woski with the 2. Or this, Griffin. What's this? Oh.
Shovel in that slop down your throat. Shovel in that slop down your throat. Shovel in that.
Yeah, he does love shoving things down his throat. Yeah. It is a trend, honestly. It's a trend with him. Something is always going down his throat, in his mouth, or blowing all over different parts of his bodies. So,
Sucks like wet dick in a fucking Olive Garden parking lot. This is giving hand jobs in an Olive Garden parking lot.
Fucking suck dicks in an Olive Garden bathroom.
I don't know. We may have more to learn about the past life of the Dreamcast guy. Should we watch his other one?
Today is the beginning of the PlayStation.
He unplugged it!
Boycott called the PS Blackout. And I wanted to explain why we're doing it. Why millions and millions of people are not just shutting off their PlayStation 5s, PlayStation 4s, PlayStation accounts, they're unplugging them. I'm literally setting my side here now. And I want to explain what the PlayStation Blackout is, what we hope to achieve, and how effective it's actually going to be. Because a lot of people are basically saying that even if it is like 1 million people, say a straight up solid million, or even say 5.
Give me a second here, guys. Just a brief momentary interruption. See how long this takes. The controller was quite dusty. Is this thing not plugged in? Oh no, it's rebooting. Probably because I had a power failure.
5 million people choose to shut off their
Yeah, the pause was good.
PlayStation 5s for the entire week. How much does that really matter? Hundreds of millions of people play on PlayStation. I think the current number is there's like 120 million concurrent active spending players in the PlayStation ecosystem. How much really is a 1% dip? This isn't just about the sales. This isn't just about hurting them financially. It is about making a point that PlayStation has messed up. That PlayStation is in a spot where, honestly, the hype for the PlayStation 6 is zero at this point.
I just turned on my PlayStation for the first time in months to celebrate this momentous occasion of the boycott, dude. You know, I haven't turned this thing on in months, but I'm doing my part, guys. Doing my part.
It does sound like the all-digital future is being thrust upon us. A lot of people are basically saying, why care about the pride of PlayStation? Let me break it down. I really want to explain this because I do think that this movement to me is interesting and I'm happy to participate even if it ends up not being the instant effect that a lot of us maybe hope. Hi, hope you're having a great day. My name is DreamcastGuy. I do like
Wow, it's nice to meet you.
random off-the-cuff videos every single day, so be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. But let me start with this, right? So if you've been on any amount of PlayStation social media for the last, I don't know, month or so, the last 45 days, literally every single post is being completely ratioed about no disc, no buy. This all digital future is, I think, a big reason that people are so pissed about it is because it wasn't asked. It wasn't consensus. It wasn't something players asked for. They're just straight up saying, you don't care about discs. You have already been buying digital games, so now you do not need physical games. And a lot of people just don't like the fact that, honestly, right now, there are a lot of people saying, okay, then I don't want PlayStation Plus. I don't want this crappy digital future because ownership actually matters. And there's a lot of people that are being, let's say, extra.
Then why don't you own your home? You're more worried about fucking video game ownership and console ownership and, you know, all this other insignificant crap. But yet you rent your house. You probably don't have a car. You don't have any means of producing money outside of uploading to social media. Like, it's very interesting where people draw the lines of the importance of ownership. Because always their priorities are completely fucking jaded. It's just incredible. It absolutely is incredible that this is their takeaway of you will own nothing and be happy. They were talking about video games, guys, not anything that actually matters. It's just, it's all so tiresome, bro. And we wonder why things turn out the way they do. All I can say is democracy, massive mistake.
Spicy about PlayStation. Not only have I seen a lot of people selling their PlayStation 5s and
Tony Esquire with a 5. Fake outrage is comedy. Sony will change their business strategy the moment people stop buying. Exactly. That's what I've said from the beginning. Sell your PlayStation, cancel PS Plus, buy your games elsewhere. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. All of this performative outrage and social media posting, none of it means anything. It means absolutely fuck all. It is just expending hot air and wasting oxygen. We don't need YouTubers to either we don't need YouTubers to either boycott Sony or shut the fuck up. Yep, agreed. You know, this fight should have been waged 6 years ago when they released an all-digital PS5. That should have been the moment that everybody's like, okay, we can't stand for this shit, guys. We all need to go out and buy as many physical games as we can. Don't buy anything digital from here on out. This is where we take our stand. But no, you're 6 years too late. Everybody's already started buying digital. And the fact of the matter is the hardcore quote-unquote audience that doesn't buy any new physical games anyway. They mostly just buy shit pre-owned, which nets Sony and the publishers a grand total of $0. You know, those people are now acting like, you know, time is of the essence. Well, no, that was 6 years ago. Too little, too late, guys. You know, the market's already shifted. Even if the entire physical game market disappeared on PlayStation, it'd be less than 10% of their business affected. It's just insignificant. So, the time to make a stand on this was over half a decade ago. Daryl's on with the 2, his PS5 Pro, he didn't buy. Excuse my language, that's right. He's not going to rip that in half, I bet. Is he going to rip the side panels? So we can put the Wolverine ones on, dude. You know, day one, this fucking consumer is going to be playing Wolverine. So it's all performative as fuck, man. He's going to get Wolverine day one and act like none of this ever even happened. But, I don't know, it's just... It's performative as fuck at this point.
just going to Steam or going to Nintendo Switch 2, there is also more drastic efforts being made. Obviously, this week there were the GTA 6 hacks, where people actually broke into Rockstar Games and stole a bunch of top secret Grand Theft Auto 6 gameplay. And if you actually look at their list of demands, it's specifically because of Sony. They're saying, hey, we're going to disrupt operations and release these public statements until an apology with a concrete commitment to fix this is just done. No private negotiations, no quiet settlements. The public sees it or the leaks do not stop. Sony is creating a supervillain group. Now, let me just sort of explain the rules of the PlayStation Blackout. And it's going from August 23rd, which is when I'm going to upload this video, all the way to August 30th. Now, in the grand...
Wait, so he unplugged his video, or his fucking video game console before the date of the fucking boycott even started, so he can plug it back in and keep gaming. Aw, he's not even uploading this the day the actual boycott started. Or recording it, sorry. He's uploading it. So that means he performatively unplugged his console, and it'll go right back into the plug, and then he'll just keep gaming throughout the week. This dude's not boycotting shit.
Scheme of things, 7 days, not a huge thing. To me, this isn't about the, public details. This isn't about seeing, a concurrent player drop. It's more about Sony clearly is obsessed with their investors. They're obsessed with making sure that numbers stay as high as possible.
This shit is going to backfire so fucking hard. Because all this is going to show is that the number of people who actually give a fuck about this is so microscopically small. How many people realistically do you think are going to actually participate in this boycott? How many do you actually think? All this is going to do is signal to Sony that even if every single one of those people left, their business would not change whatsoever. This is going to backfire so catastrophically bad that it's funny just to watch. You know what? They get 100,000 people to do it? Oh no, dude. What will Sony do if 100,000 people stop playing on PlayStation when they have over 100 million? It's just, this is laughable. This is actually laughable. And this is going to do more harm to the message they're trying to send than actual good. This blackout or boycott, whatever you want to call it, complete fucking joke. It will accomplish nothing. In fact, it will have more of an adverse effect than a positive one.
Going to see it on the back end. Sony wants to abandon fans. Let's give them a small taste of their own medicine. Together with other creators, we asked for a 1-week PlayStation Blackout in August. No logins, no play sessions, no purchases on any of Sony's platforms. For several years now, Sony Interactive Entertainment has continued to grow further apart from its fan base, whether it's closing beloved studios at Bluepoint, pursuing misguided live service strategies, canceling fan events, leaving PlayStation VR 2 to die, or being completely out of touch with the
PSVR 2 to die. Dude, nobody bought that shit. Sony supported it more than enough. It was a stupid gimmick product that they should have never made a second iteration of. It didn't take off. Why are they going to infinitely support some failed piece of hardware that nobody even bought in the first place?
Franchise that players want to see return, PlayStation has never felt more disconnected from its community. So here's the pitch. From 7 p.m. local time to 7 p.m. local time, August 23rd to August 30th, players can participate by turning off their PlayStation console or even logging out completely for 7 days. Now, why this time period? Honestly, I think it is the fact that we're leading up to the biggest September ever. September is going to be jam-packed with tons and tons of crazy games. I think the point is basically to show, hey, how much we miss the old-school PlayStation. Studio Japan, Twisted Metal being sent out today, SOCOM, Sly Cooper.
Wait, so you're going to boycott PlayStation before all of their games come out? Wouldn't the idea be to boycott, Wolverine or something else like that to, really hit him in the wallet? So you're going to boycott PlayStation during a time where nothing's coming out? I mean, congrats. Wow. You really showed them, guys.
Resistance, all these games that died. I think in a way people kind of wish those were the titles we were playing this September. That, hey, PlayStation's going to make billions of dollars no matter what. They're the dominant platform. It's that we miss when PlayStation cared about the games as much as the gamers. They used to really share in this excitement. I used to call it the PlayStation victory lap because they really did seem to come out here and say, hey, here's what's up. Here's why we're excited. Here's why you should be thrilled you already own a PlayStation. And now they just really don't seem to care, even when they're getting a ridiculous amount of vocal backlash. So, a couple days ago, there was a Sony State of Play called Phantom Blade Zero. Honestly, I watched it. It was extremely cool. Phantom Blade Zero looks fantastic. But this is a PlayStation console exclusive. It's on Steam, but the only console it's going to be on is Phantom Blade Zero. The entire chat was literally nothing but this. The entire chat was literally no disc, no buy.
Yep, and the entire Nintendo chat was drop the price. And if you judge it based off of the chat, the Switch 2 should have been a catastrophic fit. Oh, it wasn't. Okay, there we go, man. Glad we settled that.
No disc, no buy. No disc, no buy. And I think this is a crucial sign that the movement is not dying out. I have seen some people trying to...
Yep, same with the Switch 2, man. Same with the Switch 2, but we saw how that turned out.
Claim, oh, you know, the no disc, no buy movement, it's not that big. Oh, these people are losing interest. This is just a tiny minority of like Twitter users. I think this is a sign that right now, no disc, no buy is the mainstream opinion. This is what people care about because it
is what people cared about discs. Then the majority of games would be sold on discs. What the fuck is he talking about? Dude. This is just absolute fucking batshit insane logic, man. If the vast majority of people agreed with no disc, no buy, then there wouldn't even be this conversation in the first place because every game would be selling better digital or physically versus digitally. And this digital only shit wouldn't even be a discussion. The problem is most people do buy no disc. And that's why we're where we are.
Is about the option. It's not necessarily, hey, I need a disc in order to even play a console. It's that I hate that they're taking the option away. Now, they've been leaning into this subtly for the last year and a half. They've been purposely printing less discs of even third-party stuff. If you want something like Expedition 33, extremely rare physically just because PlayStation didn't print that many discs. Same with stuff like pretty much everything Resident Evil Requiem, one of the top selling games of the year on PlayStation. The physical, very ridiculously rare, despite the fact that you can buy them very easily on PlayStation. You could buy it very easily on Xbox or Nintendo Switch 2. It is only rare on PlayStation. I also just don't like the fact that a lot of PlayStation executives and even ex-PlayStation executives seem to think this just isn't a big deal. Shuhei Yoshida is awesome.
Wait, Shuhei Yoshida came out and said he doesn't care? Oh, my Reddit. Dude, Redditors in shambles. They love to hoist this guy up as lay heckin' good guy Sony, bro. This is their fucking knight in shining armor that they love to fucking dick ride constantly. And now even he's coming out and saying he doesn't give a shit. Brutal, man. Yeah, rope sales are about to skyrocket.
I think he's very much considered to be pretty much the bastions of the last good era of PlayStation, and he came out essentially saying that really this isn't that big of a deal. Anyone who chooses to purchase the physical version will still need to download patches, DLC, or updates.
Brutal, man.
I'm a totally digital consumer. I don't want to manage discs or swap discs.
Amen, brother.
And I guess I don't like this because it feels like it minimizes the ownership aspect of it.
No, he gave you his opinion. You don't have to like it, but he meant what he said. He doesn't want to manage discs. To him, buying the game digital is perfectly fine. We don't have to turn this into something else that it's not.
Right now, if you want to do a digital refund, it's a real pain. If you want to trade a game to a friend, you need a physical disc. This isn't just about, hey, the entire game doesn't require an install. I just really like to have a game. I like the idea of being able to buy a game for my friend, wrap it up and give it to him in a little crappy gift bag or something like that. Or there is an importance to be able to have stuff on my shelf that is just completely disregarded in this current era.
There it is, man. It's all about the shelf stuffing.
Importance to be able to have stuff on my shelf that is just
That's right, dude. It's super duper important.
gift bag or something like that. Or there is an importance to be able to have stuff on my shelf that is just
All right, I need to clip that.
gift bag or something like
I need to clip that. Hold on. Oh, shit. Fuck. Why did it mute both? Hold on. Stupid thing. Give me a second. Oh, that's a great pause right there, man. Wowie zowie. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night and you see that peering over you. All right, give me a second here.
regard. There is an importance to be able to have stuff on my shelf that is just completely disregarded. There is an importance to be able to have stuff on my shelf that is just completely disregarded in this current era.
All right, there we go. Let me double check that real quick. I want to make damn well sure it got the right part. Videos. Is this it? Yeah.
Stuff on my shelf that is just stuff on my shelf that is just
Nope. Okay, I didn't do it. That's why I wanted to check. Let me make sure this other one's fine too.
no longer trying to innovate. They're no longer trying to impress you. They're trying to milk you until your eyes roll back in your head. Sony
Okay, that one worked. All right, let me redo it.
of to be able to have stuff on my little crappy gift bag or something like that. Or there is an importance to be able to have stuff on my shelf that is just completely disregarded in this current era of PlayStation. If they made a
All right, I think that should do it. Let's see.
or something like that. Or there is an importance to be able to have stuff on my shelf that is just completely disregarded in
Okay. That's what it's all about, guys. That's what it's all about. It's all about stuffing that shelf.
sense of digital ownership where I could gift my games, where I could do more than just like send you a download code. I do want some ability to actually own stuff. I think that Steam actually does a pretty dang good version of it. Not only gift wrapping games, I do like that system, but Steam refunds are extremely fast. They're extremely effective. They're extremely generous. Steam does have a sense of ownership where you can't even download an EXE. So if you are trying to move stuff from one computer to another and the other computer doesn't have online, you can just set up to play stuff even if it isn't perpetually connected to the internet. I think that part of my frustration is that Sony did used to just crank stuff out. New Infamous games, crazy standalone DLCs, here's Uncharted games back to back, just all sorts of stuff, right? And now they release pretty much nothing. I saw
That's because you praised all those fucking movie games that take 7+ years to develop.
all this right here. Nintendo releases pretty much a game per month on the Nintendo Switch 2 and has more exclusives than the PS5 already in just their first year. Remasters and new games. 3D Mario Team Wannabe working on Wind Waker Twilight. Chill. This is the thing, right? There is just more things to play on Nintendo. There's more stuff to play on Steam. PlayStation used to be great because of the exclusives. The fact that you really could say, yeah, I own this platform because of the stories. But now, when are they coming out, right? I mean, I really liked God of War Ragnarok. Am I just waiting for God of War Le Fay? What's the game after that? Do I got to wait another 5 years to hope you give me like that God of War trilogy remake? Everything just feels way too slow, way too underhyped, and way too underutilized. This is the reason I support the Blackout. This is the reason I 100% support even the concept of the Blackout. This is what they do. This company only talks to investors. They only care about investors. When they talk about big changes, sweeping overhauls, they announce it to their investors and not their audience. This is the Sony that exists now. This is the Sony that only clocks in. It is for those concurrent players, those sales digits. I do think that everybody just choosing, even for a day, even for a week, even for a month, to play less PlayStation, they will see those lower engagement numbers. They will understand that people are actively pissed about being screwed over. And I do think that actually matters, right? When I think about this, there's still going to be a ridiculous amount of digital sales. I don't think this boycott's going to suddenly end digital sales. I mean, already GTA 6 has made like $500 million, and 77% of that is on PlayStation 5. So I'm not here trying to cope and see, thinking that one boycott's going to suddenly bring back all physical games. It's that I want some sort of ownership legally upheld and not just vaguely promised by PlayStation. I think the
I thought it came down to putting shit on your shelf, bro.
PlayStation Blackout is a little virtue signaling. I'm not sure how
You think?
effective it'll be, but I'm doing it. This PlayStation is unplugged. It's got dust on it. It's not getting plugged in until the boycott is over.
I doubt that.
Will it make a difference? Who knows? But I'd rather do something rather than nothing. I think a little bit of false hope, sometimes it's good for the industry. But how do you feel about PlayStation? How do you feel about the state of Sony in general? And what's a game you wish would absolutely come back?
Or maybe he has two of them.
Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you could, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
Yeah, this boycott is going to literally do more harm than good. That's the ultimate irony of this entire situation, is it's going to show Sony just how tiny this group of people really is, and it will result in nothing changing. It will just demonstrate what they already suspected, is that the number of people who actually care about this is pretty much non-existent in their overall bottom line. So, they will feel affirmed in their decision, is basically what I'm suspecting will be the only outcome from this entire thing. But, maybe gamers will surprise us, guys, and they'll rise up and stick it to greedy corporations like Sony, dude. But, I don't know. It's just retarded, if you ask me. Who the fuck cares? Just play your fucking video games, bro. By the time you're 50 years old, you're not gonna be like, I really wish I had some shit on my shelf. Like, come on, dude. Like, it's a video game. All that matters is you get to play it. Like, at the end of the day, like, this shit ain't saving lives. It's not changing the trajectory of yours. Like, it's just consumer spending. Dude, I can't fucking stand this guy's thumbnails. Like, look at that, bro. It's just ugly. Like, oh my god, bro. You're gone. Looks like Raymond if he had hair. Brutal, man. 80-year-olds barely even able to put the disc or pull the disc out. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why there's like, it's just, ugh. I don't want to look at men, okay? Like that, dude. Like, oh, I'm angry. It's like, go away, bro. I don't want to look at grown men on my thumbnails. Big titties or get out.